Hello, my name is Beth. I'm going to teach you what I need to remember for my exam this week. So I'm studying for a psychology exam and I'll be teaching you about neurons and neurotransmitters. If you enjoy it, keep watching. I hope this helps you if you're in the same boat as me. What is a dendrite? Well, I'm so glad you asked. A dendrite receives signals from other neurotransmitters and it sends it along the body. How does a neuron function? Well, the neuron functions by receiving, conducting, and transmitting goals. And the dendrites are on the top and they carry the neuron cells to the body. What are the components of a neuron? The components of a neuron are dendrites, axons, terminal buttons, synapses, and somas. What is a synapse? Well, a synapse is a junction between the terminal button of an axon and a membrane of another neuron. And what does the component soma of the neuron do? Well, it contains the nucleus and it controls storing genetic material. What does the axon do? The axon actually carries information from the cell body to the terminal buttons. And what underpins multiple sclerosis? The degeneration of myelin sheath. And what is myelin sheath? It is the protective fatty layer wrapped around the nerve cells. It insulates nerve fibers. It speeds up electrical signals and preserves signal strength. And what does the terminal button do? Well, it secretes neurotransmitters and it sends signals to neighboring cells. And what is the anatomy of a neuron? They come in many shapes and sizes. Cell bodies called a soma, and dendrites, axon, and a terminal button. Does it affect human activities? That is a very good question. Yes, because it's actually based on the function of neurons. And how do dendrites get their information? Dendrites get their information from the outside world or other chemicals. What is a synapse? Well, a synapse is the junction between a terminal button and the button of an axon and a membrane of another neuron. Why are neurons used? Well, a fun fact is that there are 100 billion neurons. They operate in groups to help complex brain activities, and they control thought, memory, and consciousness. Well, what's the purpose of a neuron? They do two important things. They generate electricity through action potential, and they release chemicals called neurotransmitters. What is a synapse? It is the gap between two neurons. What is a neuron? They are important cells of the nervous system, a biological unit that underlies all behavior. What is a neurotransmitter? It is the body's chemical messengers that carry signals from nerve cells to other cells across a tiny gap, called a synapse. And how does a neurotransmitter work? Neurotransmitters have chemical signals that converts to electrical signals. And how do neurons communicate with each other? They use a transmitter. The chemical is released by a terminal button. It has an excitatory inhibitory effect on another neuron, and they don't work in isolation. What does a dendrite do? Well, it's involved signals from other neurons. Thank you for listening to my study tips.